What if we could change our genetic code? Imagine having the ability to not just tweak small traits, but completely rewrite the blueprint of our DNA.
What if diseases that have haunted families for generations could be erased? What if we could choose to be stronger, smarter, or even immune to certain illnesses?
It sounds like the stuff of science fiction, but what if I told you that it's not so far off? Scientists are already experimenting with ways to edit our genetic code, and the potential impact on our world could be enormous.
But what does it really mean to change our genetic code? What could go right, and what could go wrong? This is What If Explanations, and today we're diving into the world of genetic code and what would happen if we had the power to change it.
Now let's think about it for a second. Our genetic code is like a manual, telling our bodies how to grow,
How to function, and even how to defend against diseases. But it's not perfect,
Mutations happen all the time. Some are harmless, some are dangerous.
and some give us unique traits.
What if we could rewrite the instructions?
What if we had the power to edit that manual, to eliminate flaws, enhance strengths?
Or create entirely new abilities?
Could we quite literally design ourselves?
In many ways, we already have the tools to start doing this. CRISPR, for example, is a revolutionary technology that acts like molecular scissors.
Allowing scientists to cut and paste DNA with incredible precision. With this tool, we've already made strides in editing the DNA of animals and even human embryos. The promise? A future where we can change our genetic code to fix the mistakes nature made, or perhaps even improve upon what nature gave us.
But before we get too excited, let's slow down and ask the big questions. What exactly are the consequences of changing our genetic code? Could we cure diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, or even inherited disorders like cystic fibrosis? The answer is potentially yes. In fact, one of the most exciting prospects of gene editing is that we could finally eliminate hereditary diseases that have been passed down through generations. For millions of people around the world, this could mean a future without suffering. Imagine a world where your family's genetic history no longer dictates your health outcomes. The genes responsible for conditions like Huntington's disease or sickle cell anemia could be snipped out before they even get a chance to wreak havoc on your body. Changing our genetic code in this way sounds like a dream, right? But, and this is a big but, there are ethical and societal concerns that come along with it. Our genetic code is complex. Changing one tiny part could have ripple effects we don't fully understand.
Are we really ready to start editing humans? What happens if we create unintended side effects? You could fix one problem, but accidentally create another. Our genetic code is complex. Changing one tiny part could have ripple effects we don't fully understand. You could fix one problem, but accidentally create another.
And even if we manage to avoid medical disasters, there's another looming issue: designer babies.
That's right. Once we have the technology to safely and effectively alter our genetic code, what's to stop people from using it to enhance traits like height, intelligence, or physical appearance? Could we enter an era where wealthy parents can pay to give their children a genetic edge, creating a wider gap between the haves and have-nots?
It's not a stretch to imagine a future where the rich are not only richer, but smarter, stronger, and healthier too. If we're not careful, changing our genetic code could lead to a whole new kind of inequality, one based on biology, not just money or access.
On one hand, we could see a world where everyone is free from the burdens of genetic disease. But on the other hand, we could end up with a society where only the privileged few have access to enhancements, leaving the rest of us behind.
This brings up another question. Who decides what's acceptable when it comes to changing our genetic code? Is it the parents, the government, or scientists? And once we start down this path, where do we draw the line? Imagine if instead of focusing on personal enhancements, we use this power to tackle global challenges. What if we could alter the genetic code of crops to make them resistant to drought or pests, ensuring food security for millions?
Or what if we could modify the DNA of endangered species, giving them a better chance to survive in a changing world? We could even go further and ask, could we one day use genetic engineering to adapt humans to new environments, like space? If we ever hope to colonize other planets, we'll face challenges our bodies aren't designed to handle. By changing our genetic code, we we could potentially create humans who are better suited for life in extreme conditions, like the cold of Mars or the radiation of deep space. The possibilities, while far off, are incredible.
But while the science is promising, we have to remember that changing our genetic code comes with risks.
It's a delicate balance between fixing problems and potentially creating new ones. Even the best scientists can't predict all the consequences of editing DNA, and once those changes are made, they're passed down to future generations. In other words, these aren't decisions we can take lightly.
So where does this leave us? Should we embrace this new technology with open arms or proceed with caution?
Well, maybe it's a little of both. The idea of being able to change our genetic code is exciting, and the potential benefits are enormous. We could cure diseases, enhance human abilities, and tackle global challenges like food security and environmental conservation.
But at the same time, we have to be careful not to let our enthusiasm blind us to the risks. The truth is, we're still at the very beginning of understanding what it means to edit our DNA. There's so much we don't know about how changing our genetic code will affect us.
Not just as individuals, but as a species. And while it's tempting to focus on the positive outcomes, we can't ignore the potential for unintended consequences. The future of genetic editing holds great promise, but it also requires us to tread carefully. Only time will tell how we navigate this complex and powerful technology.
The journey ahead is uncertain, but it's one we must approach with both hope and caution. We also need to consider the ethical implications. Just because we can change our DNA, does that mean we should?
Who gets to decide which traits are desirable and which ones should be eliminated? And what about the rights of future generations? Who will inherit the genetic changes we make today?
These are difficult questions, and there aren't easy answers. At the end of the day, changing our genetic code is about more than just science. It's about who we are as humans.
Our DNA is the story of our evolution, a record of everything that's come before us. When we start rewriting that story, we're not just changing our future, we're changing the very nature of what it means to be human.
So, as we move forward into this new frontier, we need to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to create? Do we want to use this power to help people and solve big problems? Or will we use it to create a new kind of inequality? The choice is ours, but we must tread carefully. In conclusion, the ability to change our genetic code holds incredible promise, but it also comes with significant responsibility.
The decisions we make today will shape the future of our species in ways we can't fully predict. As we continue to develop this technology,
we must remember that the power to alter our DNA is also the power to change the course of human history. Thanks for watching What If Explanations. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
let me know in the comments what you think about changing our genetic code. Is it a good idea, or should we leave our DNA untouched? Until next time, keep exploring the what-ifs of our world.